Okay, well this is going to be part 2 of pro-abortion escorts exposed, and we're here at her medical clinic. I can't really show the clinic very well because there's some people in front of it and I don't want to show their faces, but just show you the environment here. We have St. Vincent de Paul Catholic Church across the street, major Catholic church in the area, and we have down here there's, well, it heads into downtown LA, and we have, of course, again, LA for Choice, and so we're going to be trying to do another interview of these people and see what they're about. Okay, ladies, just wanted to let you know that I did a video at Downey, some of your people there, with LA for Choice, and I was looking to ask you also a question. This is the part 2 of this video. It's going to be going on YouTube. I don't show anybody's faces in it, just your jerseys there. I just simply wanted to ask you a question. Oh, hold on, somebody's coming by here. I just simply wanted to ask you a question. It deals with how much concern that LA for Choice has for the women that come to clinics like this. And I asked the people at Downey a couple different questions. And I'm going to ask you, you know, it's like asking them, like, would you go inside there? If you're friends to the women, would you go inside? And would you help them with whatever that they need? You know, would you be willing to talk to them, etc., etc.? And they really didn't give me much of an answer. So I'm going to ask you a question right here. Hold on a second. This is a pretty busy intersection here, so somebody's coming by. Okay, we'll do this again. Question for you. Now, this was based on a real, true story. If a woman were to come up here and she was being coerced by the people that she lived with, if she was being coerced into an abortion, and let's say that she was on drugs and she collapsed right outside here onto the ground and she was starving and she was in need of help and she was complaining that she was being abused, what would you do? Would you come up to her and try to help her? Would you come up to her and say, "Hey, I'm here to help you"? Would you come up, you know, would you come up here and, you know, maybe call 911 to see if you know, they could come help, because, you know, she'd be with her face on the ground just like that? Or would you kind of just be talking here like you are right now and just not be doing much of anything? Because, see, what we had to do, of course, we called 911 for the police to come out there, and she wanted to go to a hospital, and she wasn't sure what was the name of the hospital. It's a specific one where she did rehab before. She wanted to go there. We tried looking up the name of it, but she couldn't remember the name completely. Anyway, we tried to help her out as best we could. She did not have the abortion that day. But we tried to help her out as best as we could. So, yeah, the question is, what would you do in a case like that? Since you're claiming to be out here for women, would you help her out? Okay, maybe not. How about if you just saw a woman go in there and she was crying or whatever, and you think, you know, well, maybe I gotta go talk to her just as friend to friend. You know, because sometimes it's more helpful for a woman, or anybody really, to talk to a stranger about their problems than just talk to, you know, their own family members. Wouldn't do that, I guess, either. I don't know, I'm speaking loudly enough. I know there's a lot of loud noise in the background, but I know that you hear me. This is more of LA for Choice. Let's try over here. Ladies, if you saw a woman who collapsed on the ground here, and she was maybe on drugs or whatever, she was being maybe forced into an abortion, it's based on a true story, would you come up to her? You know, it'd be kind of shocking, but would you come up to her and would you try to help her out? Would you try to, you know, call 911? And would you, you know, make sure that she got some food in her system, because, you know, she'd be claiming that she was starving. You know, take a few bucks. Take a few bucks out of your purses. No, maybe not. What about if a woman was crying and she just needed somebody to talk to? Would you help her with that? What if a guy, you know, a big strong guy was, you know, took her by the arm and it looked like she was being dragged into the clinic? Would you try to interfere with that? Or would you just stand here, you know, talking to each other? Okay, so we just stand here and talking to each other. Okay, ladies, this is part of a YouTube presentation. Don't worry, I'm not videotaping any faces here. I just want to get your vests here, and I just want to ask you, you know, a couple questions, because I want to get the opinion of LA for Choice. This is part 2 of a presentation. I did a part 1 at Downey a couple weeks ago. And I'm just thinking, you know, like if you saw, like say if you saw a guy like strong arm a woman into the clinic here and tried to force her, and, you know, she's screaming like, you know, help me, or whatever, you know, would you interfere? Would you try to prevent this guy? Would you call the cops? What about, this is based on a true story, this happened in another clinic just, you know, a couple months ago, not even that really. If a woman collapses on the ground, you know, like a sidewalk like this, maybe like this sidewalk right here, would you try to help her out? She collapsed, she's on drugs, things like crack cocaine, and she was like very hungry, and the person who was taking her for the abortion was emotionally forcing her into the abortion. Would you try to interfere in that? Would you try to call 911? She wants to go to the hospital. She tells you she wants to go to the hospital. Would you look on your phones for the right hospital that she's looking for? You know, would you do something like that? Would you go to the local market? There's, you know, there's a 7-Eleven right down here, right on the, you know, the other side of this property. Just take a few bucks out of your pocket and go get her something to eat, something to drink. Would you help her out in that way? Or would you just kind of stand here, you know, and talk about politics? Talk about, you know, whatever it is, you know, and what's the latest great shows on television, like they were doing earlier. I guess that's kind of what it is, isn't it? It's not out here to be like really helpful to the women. It's more to like make a political statement. I think that we can agree on that, huh?